of this?
Well, I think to be fair, I put Casey in very, very difficult situations, and she is taken to task quite a lot, as well as my Asian American characters. I think my Asian American female characters are are just as bad and just as good as my Asian American male characters and Asian and white male characters. And I think that's the thing that I really wanted to say about humanity in general is that we are terrifically graced and we're terrifically damned. We have both sides of us within us, and I think I feel that my Asian American male characters as well as my white male characters in this book are extremely human in the best sort of way. And I'm very proud of them.
All right. Yeah, I always thought that Ted was kind of like just an exaggeration, like an over-exaggeration of a typical Asian guy. I don't know, just what I thought.
Well, no, Ted Kim is my favorite character in the book. He is Korean American. His parents are cannery row workers. He studies really hard, and he goes to Exeter. He goes to Harvard College, Harvard Business School, all earned scholarship. And I think that I'm very respectful of what he has done and how ambitious he is. He marries a beautiful Korean girl, an heiress, a doctor's daughter. He achieves all these things through his work, through his ambition and his plans. And then he even gets the prettiest white woman in this investment bank, and he basically has her fall in love with him. And I gave him this character, gave him this life. And I think that in terms of media as well as Asian American literature out there right now, this character doesn't exist. And I'm really happy that he's there because I know certain guys like this, and I like these guys. I think they're interesting guys, and I wanted these people to actually have some sort of reflection in literature.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, when I was reading it, I imagined Asian American guys all across the country up in arms, writing angry emails and everything to you, just because I think Asian American guys, a lot of the ones that we know, they tend to read relationships on a literal level, and that's it. It's Asian woman with a white guy, that's verboten. Then Asian man with a white guy, that's great. And then everything, there's so much complex interplay. So
You mean Asian man with a white girl?
girl? What did I say?
Not sure. Anyway, next question.
I think you answered that question, but anyway.
Actually, Asian American men have been very supportive of this book.
Oh, okay. Good.
I love it.
Oh, thank you.
I loved it. Yeah.
There you go. William liked it.
Same here. I'll get to my comments at the end.
But I've been really happy with it, and I think Asian American men feel seen in this book. Whereas, we can criticize Asian American artists for taking on stereotypes as well as characters that exist. But basically, what we really want is a critical mass. We want to have, I remember when Spike Lee first came out with She's Gotta Have It. People were really critical of him, saying, your portrayals of African American women are really negative. And I kind of thought, you know what? I think he's really brave. I think he's really brave, and I think he's created something. And I think what we need to do is have lots of African American directors make lots of films. We should have lots of Asian American writers make books. And we should have so many characters that we can kind of say, well, that's more true than another one.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to this
sure.
big silence, and whenever somebody comes up to pound them down because they didn't do it perfectly, that makes no sense to me at all.
All right, now I'm going to throw something at you, okay? A little word association here.
Let's go.
All right. Imagine you walk into a bookstore.
Yes.
Okay? And there's, the feature table that's right out in front with all the displays and stuff. And then there's a placard on the table which says women's literature. Mm-hmm. And on that table you see your book. What's the first thing that comes to mind?
That's fine. I'm a woman. That's fine. I'm a reader. That's absolutely fine. I think that if it was done in Asian American literature, that'd be fine too. You're right, and you don't know who your audience is, and I think that if that's the way it's marketed, because what you do in the privacy of your own desk when you're writing, it's very different than what's out there and how people interpret it. But at a certain point, you got to give up the control. Especially because the way we're marketed is different than the way we are.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, my God.
Right?
Amen to that. Oh man.
You know, you've actually just covered the next question. Next question was Asian American literature, but there you go. I wanted to say something about Ted Kim for a second. My feeling was that
The sexiest character in the book, I think.
just a very complex guy, and just his story was very complex. I mean, it's like he was kind of chained to this overachieving Asian male stereotype,
Yep.
and in liberating himself from that, he lost everything he had, or half of what he had, I guess. So anyway, that's just kind of my 2 cents.
But I think that in losing Ella and gaining Delia, he also in blowing up his life. Just to tell your listeners, my character Ted Kim, he is a very, very successful investment banker, and he has his perfect wife who's Korean American, and then later on he has an affair. The affair is caught on videotape, and then he loses his job. However, he gets a better job because he's really good at what he does. And to give Ted that professional integrity, I thought it was very true to the Asian American men that I know, is that they can be making huge mistakes, but they still have their game on in something else. And I thought that was really cool.
Awesome. All right, now your next novel will be entitled Pachinko
Yes.
and is set in Japan. Tell us a little bit more about it.
My main character is actually a man, Solomon Choi, and he is the son of a pachinko parlor owner. Now, for those who don't know, ethnic Koreans in Japan have been for generations treated as second-class citizens, if not third or fourth. However, many Koreans who are ethnically Korean but culturally Japanese have gone into other businesses like owning pachinko parlors, which is a vertical pinball game for adults. And these pinball parlors actually are financially incredibly lucrative. So you could be a very wealthy person, however, you're still not considered socially assimilable. So there you have Solomon Choi, whose father is a very wealthy man, goes to American schools in Japan and works in Wall Street. He works in Wall Street aspect jobs in New York as well as in Tokyo. And there will be a financial trading scandal.
All right, I'm looking forward to picking up that one.
When is that coming out?
I don't know. I'm writing it, and I'm really slow. I'm a very slow writer.
How long did it take you to write this one?
Well, I think it took 12 years to publish this one, but I think in terms of actual writing, it took 5 years. But because I'm using this omniscient point of view, that took me a long time to learn how to do.
But you're so good at it.
Oh, thank you.
Now, speaking of Japan, you live there now. What
Yes.
brings you there?
My husband's job is there, and my second book is set in Tokyo, so for research. So our purposes were aligned.
That is awesome. That is totally awesome.
What is life in Japan like? What's life like in Tokyo?
I'm not crazy about it. I'm really not crazy about it. Like, it's
Aw.
not a friendly place, and it's not my cup of tea.
I thought
it really
people were
isn't.
really courteous over there. Because
I'm Korean. It's a different thing. So even though they may be perfectly nice to me, and also I don't have the language skills, and I don't know how to speak Japanese. So if I spoke Japanese, I guess it would be a different thing. But I don't think that Koreans are loved there still. People are much more politically correct than they used to be, but I think that's difficult. I find that to be sort of emotionally taxing to have to deal with people saying stupid things like, oh yeah, some of my best friends are Korean. And you're kind of going...
Hey, imagine how we feel here in New York. People saying stuff like that. People saying to me, like, I know somebody who's Chinese, and his English is really good, just like yours.
Right. It's exhausting.
That's
It's
true.
exhausting.
That's true about.
But America's actually just lovely, lovely, lovely in comparison to Japan, I have to
Really?
say. It's a
All
great place to visit. The food is good.
All right, now I have the dreaded question. Dreaded. What advice would you give to other aspiring writers?
Oh, this is not a dreaded question. Not at all. I think it's a really good question. I think that the most important thing is to, if you feel the compulsion to write, you should write. And you should persevere. And you should not give up. And you should read a lot. And you should practice. And you should take it for a given that rejections are part of the job. If that's one thing that we should really focus on, is that the setbacks are part of the job.
You said that. I remember a few nights ago at an event you were at. You said those rejections really took a toll on you, right? You said they were they stacked up higher than the book is now.